of the season, and then they turned right around and had to go play Wichita State at their home field. And I mean, 19-16 was the final score in that game.
Foul territory ran down by Isabella Emmerling for out number 1 on one pitch from Deal.
It's been a bit of a challenge, giving up more runs than maybe normal and getting challenged in SEC play. A lot of games on the road. Good play by Emmerling here to track that one down and secure the out. And then having their first home loss last night, too. It's been an eventful week if you're a Sooner fan or if you're wearing that uniform.
Wow, hit really hard back to Deal. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Deal started against Wichita State and gave up 6 earned midweek.
It's a nice little candy hop. I mean, that was hit hard, but right to her glove, right at her chest. I think that's second out.
Deal's mom was a great athlete, played college softball and basketball. Michelle runs in the family for Kirsten Deal. Amaya Doyle now, the 8-hole freshman for Tennessee, who homered last night, drove in a pair of runs.
Actually coming to play here for the first time as a freshman. In your first at bat, you hit a home run.
She was just 0 for 4 in SEC play entering last night, so it hadn't played a ton in conference play, and then gets an opportunity against Sam Landry at Oklahoma. Carterville, Illinois. Did she go? No, she did not. Crowd into it, looking for a 1-2-3 inning from Deal. Runs away for ball 3.
You can tell they want to keep going back to that rise ball, see if she'll continue to swing at it. Did a good job of holding back these past couple of pitches.
Popped up right over to Garcia at shortstop. 1-2-3 inning for the Sooners. They lead 1-0 as we go to the 3rd inning in Norman. Ball season.
It's here. How is it already here?
The fact that we're halfway through the college softball season feels incredible, and there's still so much SEC play to happen and a lot to be decided in this conference the way it's shaping out at the top. Oklahoma looking to add to a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 2nd. There is strike 1 to Ilana Agbayani, the second baseman for the Sooners.
Well, and Oklahoma has been challenged already at home in SEC play when you go back to their first SEC weekend against South Carolina.
Tough play here, but nicely handled by McKenna Gibson at first base.
All 3 of those games against South Carolina were 1-run games. I mean, the ball was flying out of the ballpark. Patty Gasso called it the survival of the fittest that weekend. And then their 4th SEC home game last night goes to extra innings. I mean, these games at home here in Norman have been intense.
That South Carolina series, I thought, was a perfect example of where this program was before the 4 straight national titles and where they are after. I mean, the winning is in the culture here. They just know how to do it. They have a feel for it.
Yeah. First 2 games of that series, OU won 10-9. And the last game was 2-1. So 3 1-run games, but Oklahoma found different ways to win. Okay, you're going to score 9. We're going to score 10. Okay, you're going to score 1. Okay, cool. We'll score 2. They know, this program knows how to win. They do have that championship mindset, and it doesn't matter who's graduated or who's in, who's out. That championship mindset that head coach Patty Gasso has established with the culture goes well beyond the names on her roster. It is deep in this program.
Said she would have never anticipated they'd have just one loss entering this series at this point in the season, but really proud of this team and where they've come from fall.
She said that they've taken giant steps forward. And when you look at them playing in conference in the Big 12 last year compared to this year, I mean, the entire Big 12 season for them, they only competed in 3 one-run games. We're still in March, and they've already had 3 one-run games, but they're winning by a lesser margin. They already have 2 losses, one to Tennessee last night, one to Missouri last weekend on the road. It's a different ballgame this year in the SEC.
Straight back and out of play by Isabella Emmerling. Emmerling, the transfer catcher from North Carolina, where she spent 3 years, played 2 of them. Even 53 runs last year for the Tar Heels with 14 home runs.
One thing Patty Gasso told us, though, Chucky, is I just would have never anticipated that we would be at this point in the season with, it was just 1 loss, right? Because we talked to her before last night, but even with just 2 losses, I mean, this team still knows how to compete and have performed extremely well.
3rd walk issued by Margetko to this point. And that is to the 8-hole Emmerling. Hitting about 267 entering the weekend, so one they don't want to let get away from him. And now to the 9-hole Hannah Core, who they really like defensively. Yorba Linda, California. And in first pitch to Core, ball 1, who walked last night as well as a base hit and scored a run.
See Margetko just struggling to find the strike zone still. Remember, got the start last night, had 4 walks in 2 1/3 inning. Now you have Sophia Nugent, who, remember, was at Oklahoma to start her career, won a national championship with them, calls timeout on her own to go out and talk to Margetko, and you could see kind of talking to her, you could do this, a leader. And I feel like Sophia Nugent these past couple of weeks has definitely been a breakout leader, a breakout star, the breakout type of player that Tennessee has needed these past couple of weeks with her bat, her leadership back behind the plate. That home run that she hit last night, I think that you're really starting to see Sophia Nugent blossom for this Tennessee team.
Did you have a process as a pitcher? You certainly didn't want to plan for a day where you maybe don't feel it, but did you have any way that you could try and kind of reset yourself in game?
Yeah, usually it's in between innings. I mean, you can still do it when you're out there in the middle of an inning, right? But I feel like more so it's, okay, that first inning is done. I'm going to go out and start fresh in the 2nd inning or 3rd inning, wherever it is in the game. You have an opportunity to go out and reset and attack the zone the way that you know how. And sometimes you need your catcher to come out and say a little something to you. I know that Megan Rhodes-Smith, the pitching coach for Tennessee, has had a lot of timeouts that she's gone out there the past couple of weekends because Tennessee has been giving these free passes, falling behind in counts, has really taken that upon herself to go out and speak to them mid-inning.
It's softly into right field. Tough spot here. Leach, though, taking control in right field. 2 outs. Karen Weekly told us Megan Rhodes-Smith, she feels like maybe one of the most undervalued pitching coaches in the country. Said she is an exceptional pitch caller and has a great way of connecting to pitchers, really figuring out what works for them and how they can fine-tune that and add to it. Pitched for the Lady Vols from 2005 to 2008. 3 of those years alongside the great Tennessee pitcher Monica Abbott.
Tennessee definitely has a history of incredible pitchers, one right after another, All-American after All-American. Even just last year when Think about the 1-2 punch of Peyton Gottschall and Carlin Pickens. I mean, they were both throwing so well that you got to the end of the season. Tennessee, remember, won the SEC regular season championship, and you thought, okay, which one of them is going to be the SEC pitcher of the year? Because they both were so deserving with how they threw.
Ground ball right side, scooped up by Dodge, and that's going to do it for the Oklahoma second inning. Still a one-run lead for OU. This week in the 2023 Women's College World Series, Oklahoma dominating that one 9-0. They also met here for a super regional back in 2014. But it's two programs who, not just in that game we just showed you, but over the course of the last 25 years have had some of the biggest stars in all of college softball.
You think about the explosion of the SEC, and I think of Monica Abbott coming from California, deciding to go and play at Tennessee and really breaking open the West Coast to come and bring their talents to the SEC to make the SEC stronger for the next couple of decades after her.
A few NCAA records with Monica Abbott's name on them.
One of the best to ever do it, not just at Tennessee, not just in the SEC, but in the country and in the world.
9-1-2 for the Lady Vols here in the top of the third, trying to figure something out against Kirsten Deal. Two of their first three batters reached, but since then, 5 straight retired for Deal as she started to settle in a little bit after Oklahoma gave her the lead. Three-1 to Gabby. Misses a leadoff walk for the 9-hole for Tennessee. Coming up tonight on ESPN, the Women's Basketball Sweet 16 continues with the Sooners taking on Paige Beckers and UConn at 5:30 Eastern. We'll cap the day with Kansas State squaring off against USC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Of course, super disappointing that Juju Watkins had the knee injury early in the tournament, so she is out for the rest of the way, and we'll see if that 1-seed USC can keep it rolling. And then Oklahoma, how about this program they've got here in Norman on the women's basketball side? Just signed the #1 recruit in the nation. Things are looking up in a number of areas.
Oklahoma playing Morgan with the 5 infielders, so no right fielder currently out there. That is completely wide open because Abby Dayton, who is in left field, is actually going to come and play on the dirt now. So 3 infielders on the left side, knowing that Morgan, with her speed and a slapper, trying to use the left side of the field, trying to make it as difficult as possible on her to try to hit it through the infield. And then, too, you see how far up the line that Nellie McEnroe-Marinas gets to play, anticipating a bunt. Morgan got on a bunt single in her first at-bat, so McEnroe-Marinas is playing well in front of the third base bag, especially in a bunt situation and the speed of Morgan.
I have to imagine this is a weird just visual for Morgan at the plate. If you were Karen Weekly, is there anything you're trying to tell her to kind of keep her comfortable and focused in what she's doing?
Still just to be her, not try to worry too much about it, still try to be her and potentially try to go to more of a power slap, still trying to get it through the infield, trying to hit it maybe even on the right side.
Slap down the left field line, and running onto it is Pickering. 1 out.
I was, not a speedy slapper like Sabaya Morgan was in my career, but I would imagine you definitely feel the pressure of that extra infielder kind of noticing now the corner of your eye. Oklahoma likes to do that. They did the same thing against Arkansas's leadoff hitter Reagan Johnson when they played her in Fayetteville.
Another lefty. A little more power here from Kinsey Fiedler, and Oklahoma back in their regular defensive setup. Fiedler takes strike 1. Senior from Lee Summit, Missouri, played 3 years at Washington before transferring this year to Tennessee. He's a great track athlete at Lee Summit North High School. And misses up and in. Played at the same high school as Sierra Harrison, who is a junior pitcher at Missouri.
You mentioned her running track, but she also was a very
Runner
serious.
at first base has been called out for leaving early.
Another one. I've seen more this weekend than I think I have seen in the games that I've called, at least combined. That's a third one this weekend.
One ball, one strike.
Runner called for leaving early. This isn't even a review. It's just the umpires on the field calling it right away, noticing it, and she's going to be out.
It was Katie Taylor running for Leach over at first base that left early. So now nothing to work with for Fiedler with 2 outs. We've had 3, and you also just don't see it called live a lot, I feel like. Especially last year, it was such a popular review that we had. Almost never see it called live. Two-two hit hard into left field. Pickering grabs it. And essentially a 1-2-3 inning for Kirsten Deal.
Made so many World Series appearances. Lonnie Alameda and her staff just do a tremendous job of getting everybody on the same page, getting the most out of their strengths and now their talent, figuring out the pitching staff and changes, using them in a lot of different roles.
One of the great minds in college softball. We've got 2 more of them here today, Patty Gasso and Karen Weekly, as we get a look at Nellie McEnroe-Marinas, who struck out swinging her first time up, trying to extend a 19-game reached base streak and a 9-game hit streak. Takes that pitch for ball 2.
Coach Gasso says that McEnroe-Marinas just always wants more. More ground balls, more swings, coming early, staying late, just really learn that grind of a work ethic that she's had growing up in Hawaii, working with her dad, putting in the time and effort to get recruited, but also learning it from that group of seniors last year that graduated, just putting in all the extra work and getting better as the season has gone on.
Said she just wants ground balls all day long. She's like, come on, practice is over. I can't do this all day. Hit high into center field. It is pretty breezy out there today. You see that ball blowing Kinsey Fiedler all the way into right center for out number 1. Sage Margetko trying to get in rhythm for the Lady Vols right now. You talked about it, kind of both teams looking for that locked-in number 2 starter. Margetko certainly makes the most sense as that goes just over the glove of Gibson for a 1-out base hit for Cassidy Pickering.
Coach Gasso told us that she wanted her hitters to go up and look earlier in the count than what they did last night when they had 9 strikeouts against the Tennessee pitchers that they faced. The first pitch swing there by Pickering, but you mentioned it. I think both of these teams in a very similar spot of just trying to find the depth in their pitching staff behind their ace. When you look at what Carlin Pickens has done in SEC play, a 1.18 ERA, and has pitched the majority of the innings. The rest of the team, though, up near a 5 ERA. So wanting to find that consistency with what they're getting out of the rest of their staff.
Foul ball behind the plates. There's a little bit of a reaction from the crowd that hadn't seen it yet. You saw Pickens in the dugout a second ago. This was the point in the game yesterday where Tennessee said, all right, let's go for it. We don't expect to see her as soon today.
Yeah, they expected to bring Carlin Pickens into that game a little bit later. They didn't expect to bring her in so soon, but Margetko had those 4 walks, and they had the lead still. They wanted to bring her in, even with runners on base. She gave up 1. She came in with the 2-0 lead, gave up a run. It didn't go against her line. It went against Margetko's, but ended up finishing the rest of that game. I mean, last year's SEC pitcher of the year, one of the best pitchers in the country. We expected her to get the start last night. She didn't. She came in relief and pitched into the 8th inning, and the extra inning won the game.
1-1 to Gabby Garcia, runs outside. Garcia tripled on that awkward play in right field that got kind of caught up in the wind and sun and drove in the lone run of this game. Abby Leach kept the game alive in the bottom of the 7th last night out in right field with a fantastic throw home. Patty Gasso sent the runner around third base with 1 out, and Leach had the perfect throw in to Sophia Nugent behind the plate. It ended up really being the reason we went to extra innings when Tennessee won.
A lot of really good defensive plays. We mentioned that earlier, something that Tennessee struggled with last weekend against Arkansas, where they just didn't look themselves. But last night they were positioned in perfect spots. Like right now, Laura Mealy in a couple of different plays up the middle of the field.
Another foul ball from Garcia, trying to time up Margetko. Actually throws pretty hard herself, not quite at Carlin Pickens level, but was a little bit of a ramp up for Sooners hitters last night when Pickens did come in. Scooped up at first, no chance for two as Garcia runs it out. Nice play by Gibson though on a hard hit ground ball.
They have pitched Gabby Garcia very well. She does have that triple, but that should have been an out if not for the sun. There was a sun ball, potential double play ball there, but Garcia with her speed coming from the left-hand side, able to get down the line, and Boo Gibson kind of created a pick there for the second baseman, Ella Dodge.
Ball one outside to Parker, who walked her first trip to the plate. Ella Parker was on just a tear to start the season, had 21 hits in the first 9 games, just a 176 average though in the month of March, so trying to regain some of that early heat on the bat. Third-team All-American as a true freshman last year. 2-0 pitch in the dirt, 3-0. One on, 2 outs for Margetko. 3-0 pitch, Parker taking all the way.
The number's a little bit down, but you still fear a hitter like Parker.
Take series. First pitch strike to Sanders.
When I think of Margetko, I really like her curveball, and that's a pitch that stuck out to Karen Weekly as well. Whenever Tennessee had to face Margetko when she was at South Carolina last year, she said, we just struggled with that pitch. Oftentimes, these pitchers get in the portal, and coaches who were looking to pick up a pitcher or play a different type of player, like they have played against them, so they're aware of how good they are, what they can do, how they performed against their team. It's like they get a first-hand look at them, at many of them.
Hit hard to deep left center field and gone! A 3-run shot for Sydney Sanders, her 7th of the year.
A bit of a mistake that's up in the zone, and Sanders makes Margetko just pay for it. It's a curveball. It doesn't get out enough. It stays about belt high, and Sydney Sanders says, thank you for that mistake. Looking for something up in the zone. She gets it, and she absolutely unleashes on it for a 2-run home run to give Oklahoma an even bigger lead.
Sends the Sooner faithful at Love's Field into a frenzy. First pitch swinging from Agbayani. That'll do it for the inning, but not in time. Sydney Sanders, the biggest swing of the game to this point. A 4-0 Oklahoma lead after the big swing by Sanders.